Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mike Prince with the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We are fortunate to have with us right now the commissioner for the Southwestern Athletic Conference, Dr. Charles McClelland. How you doing today, sir?
Doing very well, Mike, and thanks for having me on the show.
Well, thank you, sir, for making yourself available and everything. I know it's been a madhouse for you this first 90 days with everything underneath your belt. Just for kicks, man, was it what you imagined when you first walked into this position?
It's everything I imagined and more. To be very honest with you, I honestly underestimated the, strength of the conference office and the positioning and the status of the conference office is actually even more humbling now than even when I took the job from day one, just to understand the history, tradition that this conference office has been involved in for over the last 98 years, the people that are affiliated, the passion that people bring to it, the fan base. I mean, it's really been overwhelming. I've had opportunity to go to 9 of the 10 campuses and member institutions over these first 90 days, and my goal is to get to all 10. I would do that within the next 2 or 3 months. But everywhere I go, I want to get out. I want to meet people. I want to hear what they have to say. And again, it's just been an overwhelmingly humbling experience.
Well, allow me to say this. I've been on record for saying it, but I appreciate the move of taking this championship game for football and bringing it to the home campuses. I think it's going to be something that works out great. Of course, the first year is almost the most chaotic year because it's a new thing, but I've always stressed that by mid-season, you'll know if you have a pretender or a contender. Then it's up on administration to have plans in place to host this championship game. So I know with the Legion Field situation, and ironically enough, now it's available, but that had to be one of the toughest moves for you to make that early into this position.
Well, it's definitely a move that I wasn't anticipating on making. You know, that deal was done prior to me getting here. So I expected all of the T's to be crossed and all of the I's to be dotted. And to my surprise, when I got here, that had not occurred. As we looked at the UAB issue and the way that the season was progressed, I had a number of questions at the end. One of them was, well, if you knew UAB was going to play in the stadium, why did you not do something earlier? Well, it did not become on my radar screen until I got here, which was the 1st of September. And I think 2 weeks in, that's when it was brought to my attention, and we started monitoring it then. With the relationship with the city, it's kind of difficult to pull out at that point in time. But as soon as we realized that UAB was on a trajectory to be able to host, we moved as fast as we could. Again, not something that I wanted to deal with within my first 30 to 45 days as commissioner. But the one thing that I promised you, the one thing that I promised all of the constituencies within the Southwestern Athletic Conference was that we're not going to take a backseat to anybody. We're not going to share our value. We're not going to share our brand. As a matter of fact, we're going to strengthen our value and we're going to strengthen our brand. And we could not share the field. We could not have 2 logos on the field. We could not have any Conference USA. We could not have any UAB insignia on the field or in the stadium. And if we couldn't get what we wanted, then it's kind of like the spoiled child. We're going to pick up our ball and go somewhere else. No longer are we going to take, in my opinion, backseat to anybody. We are the Southwestern Athletic Conference. We are the premier football conference, and we're going to show that on this 100 year of all that we've done for the collegiate game, not just in football, but basketball, baseball throughout. We're going to value ourselves. We're going to make sure that everybody else values us as well. To that end, we moved it to the home campus, and have been taking some criticisms about moving it to campus, Mike. But ironically, the criticism is not going to be enough room. And that's a 180 from the criticisms that the conference office took in prior years, is that the conference championship stadiums were too big and not enough people. So if that's the biggest criticism I can take, I'll take it.
Here's my point of that, if you don't mind me saying. I think if you do have a smaller venue, it creates more of an urgency for people to respond right now. That means making your ticket purchases, making your plans and reservations, and that way you can have the positive impact from having this thing because that supply and demand goes down. And I think sometimes people get slowful and they say, oh man, there'll be plenty of tickets available, and they're waiting to the last moment. This almost kickstarts people into making sure that they're planning their plan to the letter. And
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And I think you hit the nail on the head with that analogy, and it raised the stake for the game, for the campuses as well. You know, the economy of those local communities are going to be positively impacted. We said that the host institution will be able to keep the revenue. They have to pay the expenses, obviously, but they're going to be able to keep the revenue. So it's going to be a financial boost to Alcorn State University. And when you're talking about marketing, didn't have to spend many dollars on marketing this one. When we went out national that we were moving the game, you know, it marketed itself. It's going to be a heck of an environment when you go down to Alcorn. The weather is supposed to be beautiful. It's supposed to be 72, 73 degrees, clear skies at kickoff. There's going to be tailgating. It's going to be a jam-packed stadium. And when individuals cut on Championship Saturday and they scroll through all of the games, they're going to get opportunity to see the SEC play in the Georgia Dome in a sold-out arena. In my opinion, one of the only few sold-out arenas is going to be the Southwestern Athletic Championship football game, Southwestern Athletic Conference Championship football game. So we're going to have that same pageantry that everybody else has. And when they look, they're going to say, hey, I want to be a part of that. Standing room only, they have something good going for themselves versus where we've been in the past, where we've been in arenas and stadiums and the crowds are not quite, the same that it's going to be this Saturday.
Absolutely. And once again, I say you have to embrace who you are, maximize who you are, and work within the boundaries that are accessible to you, and then just strengthen what you have, man, and you'll be amazed at the results that will resound throughout the rest of the nation.
I agree. I couldn't have said it better myself, Mike.
We're talking right now with Dr. Charles McClelland, the commissioner of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Now, of course, the next big feather in your cap is going to be what's next with the basketball championship, or even have you crossed that bridge yet?
Well, we have a contract with Birmingham, a one-year deal. So we will be here in Birmingham, and we're going to put together a committee made up of senior women's administrators, athletic directors, president, faculty reps, and some alumni involved. And we're going to go around and we're going to try to find the best place to host our tournament. In my opinion, we have to find somewhere and we have to stay there. We have to build a tournament. Can't keep bouncing around every 2 or 3 years. So wherever that's going to be, we have to find it. We got to invest. And the one thing that I will tell you, wherever we go, that city and that community will have to invest in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. We're no longer going to go and pay astronomical rates. When we go, they're going to have some benefit to the Southwestern Athletic Conference by virtue of money put into the tournament, free facilities, advertisement, sponsors, the whole gamut. So we're going to go out, and again, we're not going to limit ourselves on the value. We know what our value is. We're going to work with these cities and these communities. So I can't tell you where it's going to be. The only thing that I can tell you is that we're going to have a lot of involvement from many different individuals that have a stake in the basketball tournament. And we're going to set root in that community wherever we decide, and we're going to grow it, and we're going to make sure that it turns to be a first-class event as well. Our basketball tournament has always been an excellent tournament. We just need to get somewhere, stay there, and grow.
So am I hearing a long-term commitment when you do decide where you're going to be? And when I say long-term, I'm thinking 5-10-year commitment, or are you going to just take it baby steps at a time?
Well, that's difficult to say. Again, we're going to let the finances drive, ultimately where we go. We want cities that want us, and if you really want to show us that you want us. But what I am saying is, uprooting every 3 and 4 years and going to another city has not been a good formula to sustain building a basketball championship or any championship for that matter. So I don't think that I'll go out and sign a 10-year deal, but wherever we go, the plan will be to stay there for an extended period of time. Have to keep the options open. somebody might come in with a whole bunch more money right after we build it, and then we need to keep our options open. But we want to make sure that we do the right thing for the Southwestern Athletic Conference.
Absolutely. You got to keep the options open, brother. That keep people honest, and it builds even more desire for the brand, if you allow me to put it that way. So, look, I know that there's a lot going on in a short time to get it done. It's championship week. And we appreciate you taking out the time. But you got to promise me, man, that we'll continue these conversations as things go on. I'm kind of like the slow, steady burner. I knew people were grabbing at you from beginning, every which way but loose. But I appreciate you making yourself available for us here on the show.
No problem. And you know who I am. I'm not going anywhere. I've been around for the last 17, 18 years, so I will always be accessible to you.
Well, if since you put it out there, man, we've been around longer than that around each other.
Well, that's true.
It's been a long time.
That's true.
I'm not going to call you old, nor am I going to call myself old. I just say we've gotten seasoned together. How about that?
Well, you're a little bit more seasoned than I am, so we'll leave it at that.
Dr. Charles McClelland, look, we want to offer you an opportunity for some closing thoughts and comments on this segment, sir, and the floor is now yours.
Yeah, well, first, I would like to thank everyone out there that has supported me and the Southwestern Athletic Conference in the past 3 months. It's been a tremendous ride. I got my start at Prairie View, so, the Prairie View Panthers have been extremely supportive in my endeavors as well, and just know that I will have your best interest in heart when we make decisions. Probably will make mistakes as I did at Prairie View and as I did at Texas Southern. I will admit to those, and we can work together to improve. But the one thing that I can tell you, I'm going to give you 110% of my time, energy, and effort to get this conference where it's supposed to be. And I give you my 100% guarantee that we will definitely achieve those goals. The Southwestern Athletic Conference is not dead. It's nowhere close to being dead. And within the next 18 months, we're going to show you how alive we are. And that's going to be at the top of our game.
Well, on that note, sir, I'm going to say amen and hallelujah. Dr. Charles McClelland, I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Thank you guys so much. As always, be blessed. We'll see you on the other side.